Hello everyone, it's Thursday 25th of July and we're here to look at the astrology for the day. So what I'm going to do is share with you so you could look at the chart that I'm looking at. And there we go. So I'll just run through some of the simpler things about today. So the sun is at 3 degrees of Leo. And we've got Mercury and Venus in Leo also, and Vesta. But Mercury and Venus are kind of henchmen to the sun, if you see what I mean. They stay with the sun as it travels. Vesta will go all around the chart, but these two will always stay close to the sun. Okay, and what else have we got? So we've got Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. And what I want to talk about actually is this one here, this stuff here, because there's quite some complex, sensitive, challenging issues going on with this lot. So they won't affect everybody, but if you are affected by it, then boy, you'll know about it. So let's look what's going on. Okay, so we're looking at 3 planets here in Pisces. That's Saturn and the Moon, which is just about to overtake Neptune. And then we've got something called the North Node, which I don't normally comment on, but it's right in the middle, so I can't help it. And then we have Chiron, which is really about our ability to cope with wounds, to learn about wounds and wounding and humiliation, and to be able to cope with it, rise above it, move beyond it. And then we have Eris, a real troublemaker, if ever there was one. And she will push home the things that you didn't do when things go wrong. Let's say let's say, thinking about the chap that uploaded the update to Microsoft's Windows 365 and nearly brought down the entire global IT system. Yeah, he had an Eris day that day. So what Eris does is she punishes the things that you haven't sorted out. If you didn't do your updates properly, then your computer will get a virus, and that's it. And the Eris will be there laughing because you should have done something about it earlier. Anyway, she's also known for discord, disharmony. She's a rebel. Sister to Eris, actually. So Mars is involved in that one as well. Okay, now, what I want to do actually is to talk to you about these symbols as if they're parts of a being. Right, so I always see the cosmos as being laid out as a being, and the planets are different parts of the being. So if you were to look at the cosmos and sort of step back, go out into space and look at it, you'd see the sun in the center. I'll just stop sharing for a moment. You'd see the sun in the center, and then you'd see little Mercury spinning around that, and then Venus spinning around that, and then the Earth with the moon spinning around that, and then Mars. You get the picture, right? So I always think of the sun as the spirit or heart of the being. So the being is the solar system, let's say. And then Mercury, the next planet, is how that being is equipped to notice, communicate, interact with the world, the rest of whatever's going on outside. Okay. And then the planet after that, Venus, is how that being is attracted to something, how it claims success, how it claims success, attraction, power, and is really about life as in this dimension. So being an Earth planet, it wants to glory and and praise the earth and the corporeal and matter and things that are solid, the dimensional stuff, and assist in acquiring things and assist in admiring that stuff. And so everything that you go, wow, that's your Venus thing talking. And that's the Venus thing talking about the being that I'm talking about. Okay. And then after that, we get our Earth with the moon spinning around it. So the moon is about our feminine. So in yin yang terms, it's the yin. So it's the internal, scared, secretive, hidden, unspoken part of us. And then after that, we have Mars, and Mars is our aggression, how we defend ourselves, the energy with which we get up in the morning, but also the energy with which we defend ourselves. Then we have the asteroid belt with all the asteroid goddesses, and that's about processes. It's a process onto more understanding, more grown-up understanding, if you like, more mature understanding, more complex understanding. The goddesses give us the lessons in that. And then when we pass the asteroid belt, we get to Jupiter, how we cope with expansion, how we cope with the bigger, wider cosmos, spiritual matters, religious matters, philosophy, things like that, etc. Saturn then is how we cope with restriction and lessons, testing, things that we must take on and work with and toil. Okay, I will stop there. Now, I'm going to just share with you again. Okay, so now let's think about what these parts of the solar system are, and in the being of the solar system. So it's the solar system is a great giant. Okay, right. So the Neptune in this is a very innocent, wide-eyed belief in something that honestly is not realistic. It's a pining and a yearning and a longing for something that cannot be achieved. It's a pie in the sky. It's a whimsical wish thing. It's also where we feel ecstatic, where we feel as if we can rise above everything and float into a perfect white light. So it has a very sort of fairy tale imagery about it, and a great deal of energy which feels loss for something that was before this dimension. It remembers how it was before the Big Bang. So there's a lot of longing and pining and yearning, as I say. So the longing and pining and yearning, the belief in nirvana, is at the moment clinging on to that part of the zodiac belt which reassures it and says this is possible, that these dreams you have are real and valid. They are dreams, however, they are just dreams, and they don't take into account earth and realism and the realistic. Okay, so the moon, which represents yin and our internal security and fears, where we go to when we get home and we kick our shoes off and slam the door, it's an internal thing. Okay, so the moon in Pisces is actually sharing at the moment, because it's so close to Neptune. Neptune in Pisces, its own sign, is very strong, not strong as in strength, but strong in its own energy. So the moon joining with Neptune right now is sharing in this dis-ease for this difficult life, which doesn't give as much comfort and doesn't help us achieve our illusions and our wishful fantasies. It denies us those things. So the Neptune part of this being, and by association, a connection to us, this is something that we've all got a little bit of inside in this being, the solar system. There's a lot of it. Maybe because all the little bits add up to a lot of it. I don't know. Anyway, so there is a disquiet. There's a sort of fear. There's sort of a poignant thinking about something that can't be achieved, something that can never be achieved, a loss. And there is a pining for this nirvana, for this ecstatic energy, for this blissed out, wonderful, great white light, all compassionate, all consuming, and all forgiving love. A lot like the love of the Christian church. Okay, so that's, I mean, it's understandable that energy is sort of it's not being reassured, it's not being given its dream. And so there's some disquiet around that. Now, then we get the North Node. All I'm going to say about the North Node is it's something that we cannot achieve. It's karmic. It's where space-time is ripped apart because the path of the sun crosses the path of the moon and rips our space-time. And so it's a glimpse into the multiverse, the other sides. Okay. And instinctively, all humans dread it. Instinctively, we know we shouldn't go near it. We don't want to take on the energy that is the North Node, wherever it is in our own birth chart. I should imagine we don't want to take it on when it's a transiting node as well. Okay, so there's some reluctance to pick up on Aries. There is a feeling of wanting to stay in the waters of Neptune and Pisces, and the moon being a water planet is very comfortable in there too. Okay, if we go on then, so what we've got is we've got Chiron and Eris, and I've told you about this coupling before. This is big trouble. Next year is going to be plagued with these two. I'll explain more when we get to next year, but I have already done a whole video on these two, so it was, oh gosh, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so you'd have to go back and look for the title. But no trouble, really. It's where we are being given a lesson of maturity, which is quite painful to receive, really. We don't want these lessons, naturally. We'd rather just not have them. Okay, right. So I sort of invite you to think about the cosmos and the solar system and this being and how it feels when I explain to you what these bits mean. So how must it be feeling, this being? Well, it must be quite preoccupied with hanging on to the dream and not entering the new energy, not going into the newness, not going into the initiation, because there's some kind of fear about that. Picking up that baton and running with it is something that is not wanted by the being, or that little part of us that is part of the being. And so there is a desire to just stay where we are. And of course, that's not how it works, but that's what I'm reading. Okay, so then the other part, there is another part of the sky which has a lot in Leo. And that is more realistic. That says it's a joy to be alive. It's a joy to have this energy and to have this ability to be willful, full of will, able to be what we want to be because we're in human bodies which enable us to make a stand, be assertive, and say what we want or what we don't want, which is more difficult when you're just spirit or energy. Okay, so we've sort of got this spirit, this energy which knows what it wants, and it'll get what it wants, and it's being quite respectful, but nevertheless dramatic, proud, bold. And we've got communication going. We know this. The fire planets are in Gemini, so that means that there is traffic coming past us. We're recognizing the energy, the spiritual fire energy with all its beautiful flames and its attractiveness and its drama. But then there's this wounded part over here with probably what amount to all of the negative space points, the chart points. That can be planets or it can be an invisible place like the North Node. It probably is sort of representing a little bit of hesitation and wanting to hang back for some reason to make something better, for some reason to keep it small, keep it from being reborn, perhaps, rather than, when I say keep it small, keep it from dissolving and being regurgitated again by the cosmos as initiation into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. Okay, well, there we are. So what I've basically done there is just literally read the chart, really. And I have explained how it is that I get certain things or can make certain interpretations, because I find it useful to think about the planets as parts of a real entity, a very large one, but nevertheless parts of it. And then it's easy to understand the interactions, how things are interacting. Ah, well, that's good. I hope that was useful, and I hope that you're having a great Thursday. And I'm going to say goodbye. Pause, stop recording. There we go. So say bye and see you tomorrow. Bye.